Hello everyone, welcome back to Antkeeping India, and in today's video we are going to talk about my Compressus colony. It has been 4 months since I have been keeping them. For those of you guys who are new to this journey, I started this colony in June with a single pregnant queen that laid eggs, and after a wait of 1.5 months, she finally had her first workers. Then I eventually shifted them to this turbine tube setup when they were around 20 workers. Now these guys are more than 40 in number. And you must be only seeing very few of them wandering out. But I knew for sure that this tube here is packed with a lot of brood and workers. Because of which I had to provide them a new nesting space. Well, I could have added more test tubes in here and the ants could have shifted their brood in it, but there were a few problems. The first problem of them being, as you can see, is that you cannot see. Yup, the lid here is not so transparent to provide a clear vision of them, and the box itself is obviously opaque. If I tried lifting up the lid for taking some good shots, then the ants used to crawl out of it immediately because this box was of a really small height. Also, while feeding them or cleaning their outward, I had the ants running out of the box. A few weeks ago, I connected their outworld to a new setup which had a nice and big nesting space and a small area to hang out. And I thought that the majority of the ants would shift their brood and themselves in the new nest, and that would have made easier for me to work with this setup, but it failed. They never shifted in there and all they did was create a mess in it. Also, adding this setup does not solve the unclear vision of the ants that we were having. So, being fed up with this chaotic mess, I finally decided to move my colony into a better setup with a bigger outworld and a better nesting space. So here I introduce to you the new home for our campies. It have got two containers, the larger one serving as the outworld and the smaller one with tubes serving as the nest. Let's customize it a bit. Before we get to that, if you've been enjoying the video till now, make sure that you drop a like and subscribe to our channel because your support really helps the creator to grow. Also watch the video till end because I have a few things to tell you guys. Back to the video. So starting with the nesting space, I put some clay on the sides of the tube to prevent them from rolling around. Then I added some sand to it to further prevent the tubes from rolling and also to make it look good. Alright, done. So this container will remain closed with a lid to prevent the ants from escaping, and because it is transparent, we'll be having a clear vision of all the activities that go inside their nest. I'll have to cover it with something to keep the inside of the nest dark. Now check out how I customized the outworld. So I choose to keep it really basic and simple, and I didn't complicate it for easier maintenance and easier cleaning, because the ants would use this place to forage for food and also dump their garbage and the dead ones. So at the bottom I put a layer of sand. And then for giving it a better look, I added a stone and some twigs. And that's how the outworld ended up looking. Let me know in the comments if it is nice or not. So, the nest was ready, the outworld was ready, and now all I had to do was shift the ants in here. As the old setup was a complete mess, I decided to directly place in the tube in which the queen, the majority of the colony, along with all the brood was staying, into the new outworld. And then I had only 5 to 6 workers crawling in the old outward, which I directly placed in the new setup. I had to remove the cover from the test tube to allow light to pass in, and that will initiate the ants to move to a darker place, which in this case would be their new nest. So when I peeled off the cover, I noticed there was a lots and lots of brood in the tube, and I wanted to show it to you guys, but anyways, let's just jump on to the point where I had shifted all my ants into the new setup. One thing came across my mind, that instead of keeping the test tube housing the colony in the outworld, let's just directly place it into the nesting space. And ta-da! Here they go. Just look at the huge amount of larvae and cocoons packed inside this single test tube. These guys would have been desperate for a new nesting space, and they finally have it. So everything on my part in this shift was done, and now all I had to do was wait for the ants to accept this new setup as their new, bigger and better home. And just look at the mess I've created in my room just for doing this little task. Let me just clean this up real quick. By the way, the ants that I dropped inside the outworld were wandering around thinking where did the rest of the colony go, but worry not, these two parties will surely bump into each other after a little bit of venturing. And I'll keep on updating you guys with all the major activities that we guys will be carrying out. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now I have to talk about a few things. First of all, a big thanks to all of you. We have recently crossed 100 subscribers and it is still growing. I never expected this to happen so quick, and this is just all your love and support, so thank you so much for it. The next thing is that with all these growing audience, I have a lot of viewers who have a lot of questions and queries and doubts, and for that I have mentioned my Instagram account where you can text me anytime you want. But just in case if you don't use Instagram, you can now also send me an email. Here is my Gmail account and it is also given in the description. The last thing I want to talk about is that it is really nice to see that the ant community in India, in our country, is growing. So I want you guys to also support them. So I've given links of a few Indian Antkeeping channels in my description, so make sure that you check on them. That is it. If you have watched the video up till now, then please don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out any future uploads and updates. Till then, stay tuned. This is Antkeeping India. Peace out.